今日我哋喺 Cascais， 我哋依家有個朋友 Hi Carol 係賣緊呢一層樓，咁係佢媽咪嘅，咁我哋介紹一下啦。So, how long have you had this apartment for?
I think maybe 3 years.
Yeah. So tell me, what area are we in?
Sure. So we're in a really nice part of Cascais, my favorite part, called Cobre. Cobre is Portuguese for copper. It's the word for copper.
Cobre. Yeah, I just came here from Uber. What, like 5 minutes?
Yeah, like I was saying to you, it's fast.
Yeah.
So it's a really nicely located area. You have in Cascais, it gets confusing for people because you have Cascais, the Câmara, which is the region of Cascais. And that includes some really cheap properties.
Yes.
Like really nasty
but
places.
they are not Cascais. Let me tell you, I know someone
That's a trick.
sell property, say it's Cascais, and I have clients saying to me, "Oh, they're going to buy a house in Cascais for 200 grand with a pool." I said, "That's not Cascais.
No way.
It's the
Not even
Câmara."
Sintra at that price. Yeah, so you have the region of Cascais, but technically Cascais goes north of the A5.
Yeah.
And north of the A5 is not very desirable.
Yeah.
Not so nice.
And you have to travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so where we are here, this is Cascais, the town, within Cascais, the county.
So Cobre, we were.
Yeah. So I like this. So in Cascais itself, you have the town, and then you have the greater region. And obviously the town is the most desirable. It has the 2750 postcode, which is the most desirable postcode. So that's one way you can check.
This is a really good tip, yeah.
Yeah, and so within Cascais you have various neighbourhoods, some of them were kind of workers' neighbourhoods, and then they became places where people lived, and so they're not so nice. And then some of them are new build neighbourhoods, which might seem very nice, but they have no amenities. So they have no shops, they have no restaurants. You have to get in your car every time you need something, and it can be quite frustrating because there's no real community there.
Yeah.
So I've lived in the very centre of Cascais, and then I moved out to here, and then I stayed here. And now my family lives here too. So this area is a zona nobre, they call it, which means a noble zone. So it's always been a middle class neighbourhood with houses, residential. You don't have a lot of tall rise buildings, you don't have a lot of apartments, where you have apartments and more condominiums. So it's a little bit of a more high-end neighborhood.
They have high control of the building.
Yes, very much, very strictly enforced. Building regulations.
Buildings are not allowed to build in front of some houses.
If you make a lot of noise, the police will come right away and tell you to stop it. So they're it's Zona Nobre is a nice place to live because you don't have the stresses of those problems.
Mm-hmm. And we mentioned it's sort of 20-minute walk to central Cascais.
It's exactly 2 kilometers, and it's really one street that you just walk down. It's really easy.
Oh, great!
And so even my friends who are bad at driving can find my house. And it's also nice. You can go through. There's a big green valley that runs through Cascais. It goes from the market where they have the fruit market every Wednesday and Saturday. It goes from the market, and then you can come up to Cobre, and you're walking through this trail with flowers, and it's really beautiful, and you're in the countryside, so you can even walk that way. It's very pleasant.
Lovely.
Yeah, so 2 kilometers to town, so it takes me 20 minutes walking slowly. And if you go west from Cascais, in 4 kilometers you're at Guincho Beach. You're Juna de Crasmina, Guincho Beach, so that's where you can, and if you have a bike you can cycle. I like to do that. I go from my house with my friends and I cycle all the way around the path at Guincho, and I have lunch at Casa de Guia. So it's really a lifestyle place. And also during the lockdown, my friend told me she lives in Belura, and she would get in the car with her children because she lives in a small apartment and they really wanted some exercise. And the police were stopping the cars in the Sintra National Park and saying you can't drive. There's a lockdown during COVID. Remember Easter?
Yeah.
So they weren't allowed to drive, even to go walk in the forest. Whereas for me, I can walk there from my house. So from Cobre, you walk 1 kilometer from where we are exactly here, 1 kilometer north. You have an area called Quinta das Patinhas, and that's the start of the trail. And I did it one day in 2.5 hours. I walked from my house to Sintra. So
beautiful.
You have all these hiking trails and walking, and so sometimes we go for 5 kilometers, sometimes we go for 20 kilometers, but you can walk there, so you don't have any stress about having to drive or having to park, or there's restrictions on movement. And so you have the sea 4 kilometers, you have the town 2 kilometers, and you have in 1 kilometer the national park.
我哋依家咧喺我朋友咧間apartment，佢媽咪諗住賣呢層樓啦。咁我哋依家喺 Cascais， 咁行路咧就係20分鐘去 Cascais 市中心。咁好適合咧退休人士過嚟住啦。咁呢個地方都好靜，同埋咧又近市中心喎。我覺得個價錢都幾抵嘅。喺 Cascais 嚟講咧，佢頭先用英文講過咧，話係一個中產人士嘅地方。其實咧，我覺得係一個高等人士啦，因為咧佢係出咗名 Cascais 係有錢人住嘅地方啦。咁我哋頭先講過咧，有好多人咧講話Cascais 其實我之前有幾個片咧都講過咧，有好多人買 Cascais 嘅樓，但係未必係講緊真係 Cascais，咁佢哋可能係講緊佢嗰個大嘅鎮嘅地方，咁其他嗰啲樓價咧就係完全唔一樣嘅。我哋依家咧係好中心嘅地方，但係真係正宗大王嘅。咁同埋咧如果係行路2K 嘅話咧，即係大家去中意行山嘅人士咧，可以去到呢度有一個市中，即係一個公園，咁係一個好大嘅公園，咁可以咧直情真係去行山行2個鐘頭就去到 Sintra， 佢嗰邊有個你哋知應該好出名嘅有個堡壘嘅。咁講住咁多先，我哋而家睇樓。Like, so you guys have this apartment 3 years ago?
Yes, so we bought it sight unseen because it's really, really difficult to find a good 1-bedroom apartment in Cascais. Because we were looking for our criteria were we wanted like something like this. You see, this is a higher floor and it's southwest facing, so you get the sun all day long.
Southwest facing, yeah.
So it's a very, very bright apartment.
Wonderful. I can feel all the lights flooding in.
Yeah, and it's really in winter, like when the sun is lower, it's in all day long. So you don't even need the heating very much because the glass is double glazed and it's really warm. And then these older buildings are better built. They tend to be good quality.
雙層玻璃。我哋
There's
依
an
家喺個
avocado
路。
tree next to it so that you can steal them.
Avocado tree。而家係個露台仔，咁個睡房同埋個客廳都走出嚟嘅，咁有埋冷氣啦。Yeah, you were just saying like it was really difficult to get a 1-bedroom flat.
Yes, it is. It's really difficult.
Neighbor just told you
just
left the light.
noticed. I didn't know if you knew, but you left your light on outside.
That's really sweet.
Really costing you money. Isn't that sweet?
Not nosy, but just helpful.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, so we were looking for, I'm telling you, we thought we were never going to find anything.
Yeah.
Because we wanted a 1-bedroom flat, we wanted like a nice building, which we just saw with a nice neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, like professional people, not people partying and making noise.
Yeah.
Not in a very noisy street with a lot of traffic. This is a cul-de-sac here. This is a dead-end street.
Yeah.
So there's no traffic, there's no road, there's no noise. It's very peaceful. And, you know, good light, high floor, secure. You know, there's a gate that locks
What
electrically.
floor are we on?
That side you're on the 2nd floor because it's on a hill.
Yeah.
You go down 2 floors. And on this side you're on, like, you can see we're quite high up. We're sort of 4th floor equivalent because of the way that it sits on the hill.
So there's 2 separate entrances.
Yeah, there's an entrance at the back where the swimming pool is, where you can drive your car. So there's an electric gate opener, and you just zap it and the gate opens. And then up here there's a pedestrian gate, so you can. And then the apartment comes with its own storage. Yeah. So there are 2 entrances to the building. Downstairs by the swimming pool is a big gate for the cars. You just zap it and it opens and closes. And then on this street here, on the main street there, which again is a very quiet pedestrian street. It's not a main road. You have an entrance there for pedestrians. And the apartment has a parking space dedicated to
Oh, lovely. I was just going to ask.
yeah,
parking
and it
space.
has a storage room for
Brilliant.
suitcases and whatever.
Great, fantastic.
Rewired the apartment and we replumbed the apartment because the plumbing and wiring in Portugal, living on new builds, is not great, and I wanted to do mine because I know it's going to work. And things you put in the walls, once you finish the apartment, you don't have to take the walls apart again.
Yeah,
so that's very common here. They go in, they just put a new IKEA kitchen and they paint it, and people think it's been renovated, and then nothing works.
Yeah, and the main thing is I always recommend to my client, get your plumbing, get your electric done. It's just
So
no-brainer.
expensive.
Yeah.
So we do. Yeah, so for example, we put false ceilings here and all the plumbing's hidden. We put in air conditioning. So then the plumbing from the air conditioning is all hidden in the walls. So like it's really expensive to start taking things out and putting things in walls. So you want to get that all done. I completely agree. You want to get that done first. So initially in the entranceway, we built this closet in here.
I love the floor-to-ceiling closet.
Yeah, and it's the same color as the walls, so it's not too obvious.
Yeah.
So she has like all her extra. Well, an entrance here to the kitchen, and the kitchen was closed off, which was making the kitchen quite dark.
Right.
So we closed this up here to put the closets.
Yeah.
And then we opened up the kitchen here so that it would have more of the light. It's beautiful. We get so much light in this apartment. It seems so sad to close it off.
Love the marble.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It has like a 3D
tiles,
wave pattern. Yeah, so this is like a slightly semi-polished so that it's got a bit of a grip so that you don't slide.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so the kitchen was handmade in Portugal. So it was designed specifically for this space and handmade. And you have quite a lot of storage in this kitchen actually. Like you have these really big cupboards. All the appliances are new.
Would you guys leave the fridge and the washing machine?
Yeah, I think, for asking, everything stays. Okay. For less than asking, we have to discuss it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so this is all brand new. Everything here is brand new. And you see you have a proper gas hob.
Yeah.
So you can cook.
Chinese people love that.
I hate electric hobs.
Yeah.
It's impossible to cook with. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the wall we opened up, so now it benefits from all that light, which is so nice.
It's all
and you have a
open
little
plan.
dining area here.
咁啊係開放型嘅廚房，咁呢一個窗咧都有